That's when he tried biting. That's when he tried biting. I ain't even noticed that till somebody said something.
When a fighter is at the top of their game and faces a tough opponent in the ring, they can get desperate. We saw this when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield's ear, and now it's happening with Tank Davis. In a recent interview, Lamont Roach talked about how Tank was playing dirty in the ring. He mentioned things like taking random timeouts and even trying to bite his ear off. This has made many professionals and fans very disappointed in Tank.
I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own two eyes. And
Terrence Crawford has stirred
Terrence. Crawford has caused more controversy with his comments about GervontaDavis's fight. He criticized the officiating and questioned the outcome. On the big podcast with Shaq, Crawford didn't hold back. He said that when Davis took a knee, it should have been counted as a knockdown. He pointed out that any fighter who willingly kneels should be counted. And he also wondered why the
to the Tank fight. And when he took the knee, do you really think he had grease in his eye?
Well, let me start by saying 1,000% it should have been called a knockdown if you take a knee in any scenario in the fight.
The knockdown debate, Crawford made an even bolder claim, saying that Roach deserved to win the fight. He pointed out that Roach was more active and aggressive, landing more punches, while Davis stayed too inactive in key rounds. Although Crawford acknowledged that Davis controlled the middle rounds, he argued that Roach dominated the early and final moments of the fight, showing more desire to win. Crawford believed this led to Tank's desperate actions in the ring, suggesting that Tank faced an opponent who outclassed him, while Roach kept his
undefeated. And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here with
Paulie Malignaggi. Also didn't hold back, calling GervontaDavis a protected fighter and blasting the fight as another manufactured moment in boxing. He claimed Davis has been carefully managed, avoiding real challenges while being hyped as an unstoppable force. According to Malignaggi, the referee's decision to stop the count showed clear favoritism, proving that Davis gets special treatment. He went even further, saying that any fan still defending Davis after this is blindly supporting a fighter who hasn't truly earned his status. Malignaggi believes this fight was just another scripted event, meant to maintain the illusion of Davis's.
Can't keep reiterating how disappointing GervontaDavis has been as far as the resume is concerned. If this is about as manufactured a star as you can make, and anybody who is going to defend that is really got to get their groupie lenses checked, because I've never seen a guy with this many pay-per-view headliners have not a single Hall of Famer on his resume. Not a single win on GervontaDavis's resume.
Danny Garcia took a more balanced approach, but still pointed out a harsh truth. GervontaDavis's struggles were inevitable. He admitted that Tank had a tough night, but blamed it on his lack of real challenges. In Garcia's view, Davis should have been fighting top champions much earlier, but his carefully planned matches left him unprepared for real challenges. Now, with the backlash growing, Garcia believes this is the result of years of protection. Fans are frustrated because Davis has avoided true tests like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson.
You know, it's just boxing, you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say in boxing it's better for you to just fight the best. Because if you lose, you lost to a fighter like you, a dog like you. But if you lose to a fighter with a lesser of a name, and you're supposed to win or a performance like this.
Rolly Romero shared a similar opinion, saying GervontaDavis simply had an off night, just like he did against Isaac Cruz. According to Romero, every fighter has tough nights, but when you're a star like Tank, the criticism is louder. He believes even the best fighters can have a night where they're not at their best, and that shouldn't lead to hate. However, with Tank, it's different. Rolly understands that people like to criticize Tank, and that's one of the reasons a friend of Lamont Roach told him about the biting incident. For Rolly, it's this pressure that often kills a fighter's motivation in the ring.
Pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night And Cruz.
For years, the word protected has followed GervontaDavis like a dark cloud. From the moment he teamed up with Floyd Mayweather, many in the boxing world questioned whether he was truly being tested or just carefully managed to keep his undefeated record intact. His opponents were often handpicked, fights were controlled, on his terms, and the biggest names in his division were often avoided. Now, after the controversial draw with Lamont, the doubts about his career are louder than ever. The myth of Tank's invincibility has been seriously damaged, and for the first time, the world is seeing what happens when he's not in control. In fact, Canelo takes it a step further, suggesting that Tank's behavior in the ring should have led to an immediate
Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the
boxing fans and pros have long criticized Tank for avoiding real challenges. While fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez have taken on tough fights, Tank has stayed in his comfort zone. He built his reputation with flashy knockouts, but mostly against opponents who didn't pose much of a threat. When he struggled against Isaac Cruz, the protected label gained more attention. Now, with Lamont exposing even more flaws, that label is sticking stronger than ever.
For skill, none of these guys can mess with me, like nobody. Like, I feel like my skills is way better than like Floyd. Like if I'm on my game. You feel, well, yeah, I take that back. Probably hand in hand. But skill-wise, nobody on TV that's fighting right now have more skills than me. Nobody. Like, I'm talking about top to bottom list of fighters that's fighting on TV.
So what I gotta do with you being, I guess, embarrassing? Like, cause again, we seen you make posts on a story like the fight not happening. Like,
cause I don't never wanna, like, me not doing my job like all the way, like me not training.
Lamont did something few expected. He made Tank look vulnerable. He didn't just survive. He fought Tank on even terms and arguably did enough to win. Landed clean shots, wobbled Tank, and made him uncomfortable in ways no other opponent has. If had more power, Tank might have been on the receiving end of a viral knockout, something that would have haunted his career forever. That's what makes this situation different. Tank isn't just dealing with a controversial fight result. He's facing...
I wasn't even registering or processing through my mind the other rules, to the simple fact that he could have got disqualified for having his corner come up to the ring and assist him during the round. Or
you can't come to the mat.
Do that. Or he can't turn his back on the, like during the fight. That's cause for that's the wave it all. He took a knee and then turned around and went to the corner. A ref will usually turn a stop.
When asked about a rematch, Tank wasn't his usual confident self. He didn't demand to run it back, brush off as an easy fight, or promise to correct his mistakes. Instead, he hesitated. That hesitation is exactly why fans and critics are questioning him more than ever. If Tank truly believed he won, why not shut down the doubters with a rematch? If he thought was no match for him, why not erase the controversy with a dominant performance? The fact that Tank didn't immediately embrace the idea of a rematch only fueled the belief that he knows he could face another.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
But the rematch is unavoidable. The IZ backlash, the scrutiny, and the questions about his legitimacy have made sure of that. If Tank refuses, he confirms every criticism about his career, that he's been protected, that he avoids real risks, and that he was never as good as he claimed. If he takes the rematch, he steps into the ring knowing that has already hurt him once, and this time, the pressure will be higher than ever. Tank's greatest fear isn't just losing, it's becoming a meme, the punchline of a viral moment. And right now, Roach is the one fighter who came dangerously close to making that fear a reality.
You open to a rematch. You want to fight?
100%. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna.
Jaron Boots Ennis sees the backlash against GervontaDavis as nothing more than hate. He believes people have always been looking for a reason to bring Tank down, and this fight just gave them more fuel. According to Ennis, the criticism isn't about boxing, it's about personal dislike. With Lamont Roach's corner adding to the chaos by throwing out lawsuits, making allegations, and even claiming Tank tried to bite his ear, the negativity has only intensified. Every controversy, every accusation, and every questionable moment is now being used to paint Tank as the villain, making it even easier for critics to attack him.
Big names, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw, you know. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning. Moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating him and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job. Like, he looked sharp to me. And I don't know, people just be talking. You know, at the end of the day.
Teofimo Lopez has never been shy about calling out GervontaDavis, and after watching Tank struggle against Lamont Roach, he's more convinced than ever that Tank isn't as talented as people think. For Teofimo, the fight exposed Tank's limits. Forget the ear-biting allegations. The real story was how much Tank struggled. He wasn't in control, wasn't dominant, and looked lost at times. If Roach could give him that much trouble, Teofimo believes there's no way Tank survives against Shakur Stevenson. In his eyes, Shakur would pick Tank apart with ease, proving once and for all that Tank has been overrated. Of course, Tank's corner doesn't agree. Kenny Ellis fired back at Teofimo, saying he wouldn't survive a fight with Tank.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to put that on Teo, because he don't deserve it, but it's a certain area, if he get cut, his career is just about done. Because I've seen him with several fighters in the past.
Add to Teofimo's take, Shakur Stevenson has also joined the conversation. Shakur has been pushing for a fight with GervontaDavis for a while, and after watching Tank's performance against Lamont Roach, he feels even more confident about what would happen if they met in the ring. For Stevenson, Roach exposed Tank's flaws. He wasn't in control, wasn't dictating the pace, and wasn't ready for what Roach brought. In Stevenson's eyes, Tank overlooked Roach and paid the price. He expected an easy night, but got caught off guard when Roach started landing.
Look, throughout the years, what you would do against somebody like Tank, your style versus his, was that not the blueprint? And can you not do 10x that?
I'm not even going to show him, but look, I want some money tonight. That's all I'm happy for. I want money tonight.
Shakur, tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision? Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we going to fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I thought Lamont won.
You thought Lamont won?
What stood out most to Shakur Stevenson was how Tank reacted under pressure. He believes Roach's ability to counter and push forward made Tank uncomfortable, something that rarely happens in his fights. When Roach landed his best shots, Stevenson saw a fighter who wasn't as dominant as people believed. Now, with fans and fighters questioning Tank's ability, Stevenson sees an opportunity. He's ready to prove that Tank has always been overrated. If Tank continues to avoid him, Shakur is aiming to beat the man who shook the legend, Lamont Roach himself. Lamont Roach has even recently revealed that a fight between him and Shakur is...
And said that if you can't get the rematch, he has a championship fight waiting for you. What do you think about that?
That's why I love him. Genuinely speaking, man, that's what I want to do. I want to fight the best fights. You know, like I said, hopefully we can get the rematch. If not, hopefully I can, well, more than likely we can get in there with Shakur because, we already talked.
Hearn thinks the backlash against GervontaDavis has gone too far. While he agrees that the 9th round wasn't clean and Tank should have been given a knockdown count, he doesn't believe it's enough to overturn the result. To him, a warning would have been the right call, not a suspension, disqualification, or changing the outcome of the fight. Hearn also doesn't expect the New York Athletic Commission to intervene. He sees the controversy as something that should push Tank to come back stronger, rather than be used as a reason to discredit his career. While some believe the fight should be reviewed, Hearn doesn't think Roach should be awarded the win. Instead, he sees this as just another lesson for Tank, one that should motivate him to be more disciplined in the ring. Despite all the noise, Hearn believes...
We had a show that night. I haven't watched the full fight. One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation for me. Like, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, "I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night." And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when reacting to GervontaDavis's controversial draw against Lamont Roach. While many debated whether Tank truly deserved the result, Rogan's focus was on Roach's performance. He admitted he hadn't watched Roach fight before but was now a big fan, which felt like an indirect jab at Tank. Instead of praising Davis, Rogan highlighted Roach's skills and expressed hope for a rematch, something that only fueled the ongoing debate. For Davis, this wasn't just another opinion. It was another high-profile figure questioning his dominance. Rogan's words added to the growing narrative that Tank had been exposed and wasn't the unbeatable force many once believed him to be.
Drop the damn ball. We don't care if a fly flew by your helmet or your eyes.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
You can't be a championship fighter and taking a knee and putting on those type of performances.
Also, what are they putting in his hair? That when he's...
With more voices supporting Roach, the pressure for a rematch became even greater. As talks of a second fight gain momentum, Davis finds himself in an unfamiliar position, fighting to regain the respect he once commanded. The pressure on GervontaDavis is mounting, and now WBA President Gilberto Mendoza is making things even more serious by pushing for an immediate rematch between Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. Mendoza's stance could force the WBA Championships Committee to make a ruling that ensures Roach gets another shot at what many believe was a stolen victory. With all the controversy surrounding the fight, Mendoza's move is being seen...
It needs to happen again because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from GervontaDavis saying that he was going to activate the rematch. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Would I like to see this fight happen? Yes, I would like to see a fight happen again because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. And I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas.
Lamont Roach, who walked into the fight as an underdog, has suddenly become one of the biggest talking points in boxing. His performance not only shocked fans but also caught the attention of major figures in the sport. Even Joe Rogan has taken notice, publicly praising Roach while barely acknowledging Davis. If Roach ends up on Rogan's podcast, it could further skyrocket his profile, cementing his place as the fighter who exposed the so-called face of boxing. Meanwhile, Davis isn't just dealing with criticism from fans and analysts. He's also facing harsh words from the Garcia camp. Ryan Garcia's father, Henry Garcia, didn't hold back when discussing Tank's performance. According to him, Davis's age is starting to show and his legs aren't what they used to be. He also pointed out that Tank's switch in trainers could have played a role in his lackluster showing. But the most damning statement was when he said there was simply no way anyone could claim Tank won that fight.
I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But